Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Welcome to our class today. So yesterday we were discussing, where we left was on how we determine if a company can be deemed to be over trading, okay? And we went all through the symptoms, okay? So if there is a question, okay, will be blocked, then of course it should be an easy question to take care of, okay? Provided you do remember the symptoms, okay? Because if you don't remember the symptoms, then how do you analyze, okay? How do you make the analysis, okay? So the key thing to take care of there is more towards on how to take care of the symptoms, getting to know those symptoms. Then once you have done the analysis, then you discuss, okay? And don't forget, inside question, discussion carries more marks, okay, as we saw yesterday, okay? The discussion bit of it, the interpretation of the analysis you have done have more marks than even the analysis sometime, okay? Now, let's discuss on how to manage therefore inventory. Okay, as we had mentioned at the beginning of this topic, okay, we shall be discussing how to manage the key components. Okay, how to manage the key components: inventory, receivable, cash, as well as payables. Okay, so how do we manage each of those key components? Okay, so let's begin with the inventory. Okay? And for the case of inventory, you have already discussed this, okay, in the previous papers, all the way from management accounting to performance management. You discussed these things already, okay. So it's simply going to be a repetition of what you have discussed, but now from a financial angle, okay, from a financial perspective, okay. Now, for the case of the inventory, what we want, don't forget the two core objectives we do need to take care of when it comes to in management of working capital, which is to make profit as well as to be able to, or we do remain liquid, okay? So that's two key objectives that we do pursue, okay? Which means, therefore, the same objective we shall be considering, okay, when also managing now the individual components, okay, of each of the working capital, of each of the key elements of working capital. However, some will be having things that don't, okay, in quote, pay attention to other two objectives. However, we are still pursuing those two core working capital objective, okay. You know, in managing of inventory, okay, what we want, or the key, what you want to establish is to be able to determine what is the order quantity, okay, what will be the order level, okay, that will ensure that we do minimize the cost, okay. So the attention here, we shall be paying more towards the minimization of cost, okay, cost minimization, okay. What should be therefore the optimal reorder quantity? What should therefore be the optimal reorder level, okay? That will, at the end of the day, okay, do minimize the cost we are incurring, okay, cost in terms of the in terms of purchase cost, in terms of the holding cost, in terms of the ordering cost, okay. So you want to ensure that we can be able to minimize, okay. We want to establish the order quantity that will be able to minimize the cost, the purchase cost, the inventory cost, that is the purchase cost, the holding cost, and the ordering cost, okay. So anyway, let's go straight to the topic, okay? Managing inventory. When it comes to the inventory management, okay, as I mentioned, the key idea we are trying to pursue here is more towards, I think I've mentioned, cost minimization, okay. We want to establish, okay, what should be, okay, the reward level that will minimize the cost that we do incur as a company in terms of our inventory, okay. Don't forget, in case you're going to be a firm that you are involved in manufacturing, okay, where you have work in progress, you have finished good, you have raw material, then the bulk part of your current asset may be on the inventory, okay. The bulk part of your working capital investment, okay, maybe towards the inventory, which implies therefore you have to be very careful. Since most of your investment, okay, will be towards the cost will be more towards inventory, then you have to pay more attention it doesn't mean that you ignore the receivable, the cash, okay? But you have to pay more attention, okay? You have to pay more, in quote, special attention towards the inventory, because most of your material, most of your investment in working capital will be more towards the inventory, okay? So inventory management has traditionally been about cost minimization, like I mentioned that, and most of the firms that are involved towards manufacturing, okay, most of your current assets, most of your investment towards working capital are more towards, they will be more towards the inventory, okay, which means therefore you have to be able to do more analysis, okay, as opposed to the cash, the receivable, because inventory has the bulk part of your investment, okay. And don't forget, this is a bit, inventory in quote is a bit liquid, okay? I think as we saw yesterday when analyzing the company liquidity position, okay? Therefore, it's necessary to reduce the levels of inventory held to the minimum, to the bare minimum, okay? The more inventory you have at hand, the more the cost, okay? The more inventory you have at hand, the more the cost. So what the idea is that we want to ensure that if it is possible for us to have our operation running smoothly with only 10 units, then do it, okay? Don't acquire 20, okay? If you can go to run your operation smoothly with only having 10, okay? So keep the inventory to the bare minimum, to what is only required, okay, as per se, okay? And if possible, if you can go to the zero inventory or what we call the, what do you call it, okay? We have zero inventory balance. I can't remember what to call the inventory, where you do keep zero inventory to the company just in time. That's what I was looking for. If it is possible for you to have a just in time where you keep zero inventory, okay, and the inventory you acquire is only when you need it, okay, then that's even better, okay. So keep zero inventory if it is possible. That is, if it is possible to keep zero inventory, okay. Of course, having high level inventory come at its own cost. Okay, they have in quote some advantages. Okay, but at the same time they have their own costs. Okay, of course one of the purchase cost. Okay, which necessarily okay will be the same whether you keep high level inventory or not. Okay, so maybe this point might not. It's more or less going to be the same whether you keep high inventory levels or low inventory level. It doesn't matter. The purchase cost may be the same, okay? However, don't forget, if you do purchase high inventory at the beginning of the year, then it means you're tying down your capital. You have more capital tied down, okay, compared to a case where you do buy in piecemeals, okay? So there's going to be more capital tied down the more you do buy inventory, the more inventory balances that you do buy, okay? Holding cost, of course, that's a bit more clear and straightforward, okay? That in case you do keep high inventory balances, it means you'll be holding more inventory. They'll be having more inventory at hand, okay? So there'll be more holding costs you'll be incurring. In terms of, for example, the warehouse, okay, you require a larger warehouse because you have high inventory you're keeping, okay? More cost of insurance, okay, because you keep more stock, okay? You'll be having more cost of securities, okay, that you hire, for example, okay? So there are more costs to be carried, okay, for having or for maintaining the inventory. Okay, so the idea is that you want to keep the inventory to the minimum, reduce all the holding costs. Okay. However, don't forget, okay, having high inventory or procuring, okay, the inventory in high bulk or in bulk amounts, okay, has its own advantage in terms of reducing the number of orders you make with the supplier. Okay, therefore there'll be cost reduction in terms of if you have to keep high level inventory. Therefore, the number of orders you make per year are a bit lower compared to a case where you do reorder more frequently. Okay, therefore the total ordering cost will be lower in case you keep high inventory levels, okay, or balances. And the cost includes insurance against theft, like I've already mentioned, obsolescence, okay, this is a part of holding costs, okay. The chance that the inventory might become obsolete before they reach the market, before the market buy them off, okay. So this, you have a high cost, okay, that the inventory, your inventory might become obsolete, okay, before the market buy them off, okay. This is the pros and cons of having low inventory balances. Okay, of course, one of the key costs is the stock-out cost. Okay, the chance that if we keep low inventory balances in our premises, okay, and maybe the demand increase than what we had anticipated. What happens? Okay, the customer will become in quote disappointed. They are dissatisfied that hey, I came to buy a commodity, I came to buy this product from you, but it was not in store. Okay, what do I do therefore? In the future, I will not come. Okay, if I was to procure the same item, I will look for someone else where I can be able to procure. Okay, that particular item. Okay, so having low inventory balances levels, okay, might cause a company in terms of future returns. Okay, so you have to strike a balance in quote. Okay, getting to know that hey, high cost has its own cost. Okay, low inventory may end up having high stock out costs. Okay, and this might include, for example, the potential profit, okay, you could have earned from the sale that you did not make. Okay, don't forget here, there's a sale you could have made, but since the customer came to the premises, they never found the commodity. That's the lost revenue. That's a lost contribution. That's lost profit which you didn't make, which you could have made. Okay, but since you had low inventory in your premises, you never made the sale. You never earned that profit, therefore. Okay. But you have to go the setup cost or the reorder cost. Okay. Now this is cost you've been incurring in terms of this is going to be cost you've been incurring. If, for example, you're involved in production, okay, and maybe what was your focus was that within this particular 1 week you shall be producing, let's say 10,000 items, okay. However, because of the unforeseen demand, okay, the item or the demand that is meant to be satisfied for that week is, let's say, 20,000. Now, what do? Whereas you had produced only 10,000 items. Okay, if you don't want to satisfy the extra demand, which is beyond what was anticipated, don't forget what you are anticipating was 10,000. What is the actual demand for that particular time period is 20,000. So the company in quote is struggling to produce the extra 10,000. Okay, you'll be calling the workers, hey, come back. Okay, we need to produce more. Okay, where therefore you pay them a bonus because of in quote working overtime. Okay, you really need to make unforeseen demand from your suppliers. Supply me the extra raw material. Okay, supply because they may end up charging more cost to you. Okay, because they work with a plan. So in case you ask for the delivery on the wrong time, then they might be asking you for an extra fee, maybe in case they do have more power. Okay, so they because you be carried because of this, as you try to reset the machine, okay, to restart the production to supply the extra demand, you'll be incurring some what we call the setup cost. Okay, which all this is because you did not produce 20,000, you produced 10,000. Okay, and now you are running to supply the extra 10,000 which you are not anticipated that you may be requiring to pay to produce. Okay, so all those are costs that you've been carrying in terms of you having low inventory, even in case of the discount. Okay, don't forget suppliers will give you discount based on the quantity you buy from them. The more you buy from them, the more discount they're going to give you. Okay, so in case therefore you do your order is quite low. Okay, your order is quite low. Now, what does it imply? Okay, it implies therefore you will be having a very low discount, if any, the supplier will be giving you. Okay, the more you buy from the supplier, of course, the more the discount they will be giving you. Okay. So don't forget, therefore, there's both pros and cons of having high inventory, low inventory. Okay. So it's upon you as a company to discern. Therefore, what's therefore the optimal? Okay, where we do not we don't have too high inventory levels. Okay, we do not have too low inventory levels. Okay, so you want to know what's the optimal. Okay, what's the point at which we as the company we do minimize our cost? Okay, we are somewhere in between, not too high, not too low. Okay, where at what point therefore do we minimize the cost? Okay. As I mentioned, as a company gets that you can't be able or you will achieve that objective if you do determine those two things, the reorder level and the reorder quantity. Okay. Now the reorder quantity is we want to determine what is the optimal quantity of stock we should be purchasing from our suppliers. Okay, what the optimal quantity of stock, for example, as a company, we should be purchasing from the supplier. Okay, that minimizes the cost. Okay, minimizes the total inventory cost or the total relevant cost. Okay, at the same time, we want to establish what we refer to as the reorder level. Okay, by the time you're going to place a new order with our supplier, okay, by the time we are making a new order with our suppliers, okay, what is going to be the inventory quantities we have within the store? Okay, okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, So by the time you're going to make a new order with your supplier, okay, what's the inventory, what's the raw material, okay, you have in store by the time you're making that new order, okay? That's referred to as the reorder. The inventory you have in store at that point in time is referred to as the reorder level. If you can establish these two, okay, the reorder level and the reorder quantity, okay, then it becomes easy to manage your working capital. It becomes quite straightforward to manage your working capital, okay? So these are the two things that we need to establish. By the time you're going to say this is the optimal, once we establish these two things, then you can deem or you can say that you have been able to establish an optimal, or you have been able to say that there's an efficient system you have that is managing your working capital. Okay, your inventory, that is. Okay. Now, there's a model that you can use that can help us in establishing, okay, the optimal reorder quantity, okay, the optimal reorder quantity, which is referred to as the EOQ model, okay, which I think you may have discussed in the past, okay, the EOQ model, okay. Sakina, you discussed the EOQ model before, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so okay, great, okay. So the same concept that we discussed during those time, okay, EOQ model will be the same thing, but here we shall be discussing more towards the financial implication, okay, the financial benefit, the financial cost that comes with the model, but it's more or less like what we were discussing then, okay, there's no difference, okay. EOQ model. Now, EOQ model, first we say that it is what we call a deterministic model, okay? So first it is what we call deterministic model, okay? It is pegged, okay, on some variables working, okay? Or they need to work, okay? If those variables don't work, okay, then the model cannot be applied, okay? The model cannot be applied, okay? What shall be referred to as the assumptions, okay, of the EOQ model, okay? The assumption of the EOQ model, okay? If those variables are out of the scope beyond, okay, the if those assumption, if the variable themselves, okay, are not within the scope of the assumptions, then the model can't be applied, okay. The model cannot be applied, okay. So this is a division model that assumes that certain variables or of certainty of variables and parameter. Okay, certainty of the variables must be working. Okay, if they're not working, then you can't apply it. Okay, okay, the model may not be applicable. Okay, certainty of the variables. Okay. It is used to determine the economic order quantity, which is the optimal stock level the firm should order and hold so as to minimize the ordering cost and the holding cost. Okay. So the EOQ, okay, what's the EOQ? The economic order quantity, okay. We assume if the assumptions, okay, we make an assumption, if the assumptions that we are saying that need to hold, if they hold, okay, then the company ought to be reordering. The company ought therefore to be reordering the inventory at the queue proposed by the model. Okay, the company ought to be reordering, okay, the inventory, okay, as per the model. Which means therefore, if therefore the model, if the company was to reorder the inventory, was to make the orders of the inventory beyond, if the queue proposed, if the model proposed a queue of let's say 1,000 units, okay. If you order above 1,000, then the total cost of the company, the total relevant inventory cost, therefore, will be increasing, okay, to be higher. The cost will be higher. If you order below 1,000, let's for example, you order at 500, the same applies. That the total relevant cost of the inventory will be higher than if you are to make the order at the queue of 1,000. Okay. Therefore, at the point at which if you are to reorder the inventory at the queue of 1,000, then the total relevant inventory cost is at the lowest possible point. Okay, it is the lowest possible point. Okay, any reordering made above the queue or below the queue, okay, its cost is higher than if the company was to reorder at the queue proposed by the model of 1,000. Okay. Now the assumptions of the model, okay, that we are trying to say.
Please repeat that.
I'm sorry, there's a question.
So please repeat what you just said, like about the queue thing.
Okay, so if, for example, the queue proposed by the model, okay, this your queue model, okay, is that the queue, we have a queue of 1,000, okay, as per the model, okay, which means therefore, if the company was to make the reorder, was to ask the supplier to supply them, okay, inventory or raw material at the queue of 1,000, that every time the supplier supplies raw material, they're going to be given, for example, 1,000 kg. If that was to happen, okay, then the company will be able to minimize the total relevant inventory cost, okay. If supplier, or in case you ask supplier to supply you at 2,000 maybe kgs, okay, then the cost of the company, the total inventory cost or the total relevant inventory cost is will be higher than what it will be in case you are to reorder at 1,000. If you reorder below 1,000, okay, let's say at 500, okay, the same applies. The cost to the company will be higher than if you are to reorder at 1,000. At 1,000, that's where the company will be able to achieve the lowest total inventory cost. Anything above 1,000, the cost increases. Anything below 1,000, the cost also increases. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Don't forget.
Sir. So this means that at 1,000, the relevant inventory cost per unit will be the lowest.
The total, not per unit, total. Okay, maybe you can say per unit if you. Okay, yeah, it will be the lowest. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay. Now, don't forget, like any model, don't forget this model that we shall discuss. Okay, this being one of our first model, they all are based on assumptions. Okay, that for the model to work, okay, then the following things must hold. Okay. For example, it is possible, or it should be possible, okay, for us to be able to predict the demand. That in the next one financial year, okay, it should be possible that the company, that as a company, you should be able to determine the total cost that we are incurring, okay, within this time period. The total units that you're going to be purchasing within that time period ought to be equal to, let's say, X units, okay. And in reality, okay, don't forget, in reality, this is going to be different, okay. So first, the assumption of the model, as the first core assumption of the model, is that it should be possible, okay, for us to predict what is required, what to be consumed, okay, the raw material that we need in the next one financial with certainty, okay. If at the beginning of the year we assume that we're going to require 1 million kgs of raw material, then that should be the case, okay, within the year. However, we know that in reality, this might not be the case. Okay, that's when we know. Okay, that you, because of the market is too variable. Okay, there are things that go up and down. Okay, you anticipate produce 10 units, you produce the customer needs 20. Okay, so in reality, the demand is going to fluctuate. Okay, it is quite unlikely you can tell with exactness that this is the number of units, the suppliers that my customer needs. Okay. And that means, therefore, what you need is going to be dependent on something out of your control, outside of the market. Okay. Therefore, the assumption is good. However, it is not realistic. Okay. But then there's sometimes you can have a case where the examiner asks you for limitations of a model. Okay. The assumptions that don't make sense, okay, in quotes, they cannot be applied in reality, become therefore the limitations of that model. Okay. Like the first assumption is a good assumption, but still there is it's still a limitation of this model. Okay, if you have to critique the assumption, try to apply. Can it be applied in reality? If it can't, then that's therefore the model limitation. Number two, the assumption was that it should be possible for us to determine what will be the cost to be incurring for every order that we make. Okay, every time that you ask supplier, every time that you're going to receive, okay, to process, okay, to make the order from the supplier, it should be possible for you to be able to tell with exactness the cost we're incurring. Okay, for example, the cost of paperwork, for example. Okay, don't forget you do need paperwork. Okay, when making the order. Okay, the transport in the carriage inward. Okay, if you're the one who do it. Okay. Okay, carriage inward if you're the one who do pay for it. Okay, what else? Okay. Logistic, I think, is the main cost. Paperwork, okay, they can mention that, okay, and this includes the main cost, the salaries you do pay to your employees who are in the procurement department, okay. So all this is part and parcel of the ordering costs, okay. So you do have to, or it should be possible, okay. It should be that cost ought to remain constant and should be known, okay, for the entire year, okay. That's an assumption which of course may not be too realistic. Okay, in reality, the cost will be fluctuating. The transfer cost, okay, might be changing, okay, and maybe based on the cost of the fuel. Okay, so there's so many things beyond your scope. Okay, as a company. Okay, the next cost is with the holding cost. Okay, now the holding cost, as you mentioned, may include, for example, the insurance fee you do incur, the what else? The security that you do incur, the rent you pay for the warehouses, okay, where you do store the material. So all this is part of the holding cost. Okay, and you're making an assumption that the holding cost should be known and should remain constant also during the year. Okay, so in case the cost in January is $10 per unit, there should be $20 per unit throughout the year, which is quite not realistic. Maybe the rent can remain fixed for the entire year. However, there's some other things that might be beyond you. Okay, the cost of security, okay, might fluctuate maybe in case you have your own in-house security. Okay, the amount you pay to those who are workers, the insurance, okay, it might remain fixed, but not always the case. Okay, it might change from time to time. Okay, the cost of electricity, okay, of maintaining that warehouse, okay, the cost will be changing. Okay, there's no guarantee that the cost that you get charged by KPLC remain constant. No, okay, it might change. Okay, the cost of refrigeration, okay, might be different. Okay, so if you deal with those perishable commodities, so either way, the cost might not remain so constant. Okay, as per what the model is assuming that we need to assume it holds. Okay, then firm doesn't run out of stock. Okay, there is no stock at cost. Okay, that implies therefore that there is no at a point in time where there will be a chance that you do run out of stock. Okay, and that implies therefore there will be what we call instantaneous replenishment of commodities by suppliers. Okay, that once you make the order, then supplier is going to deliver them immediately. Okay, that's an assumption that you're making, which may not actually hold. Okay, there will be suppliers delay. Okay, that is something that you need to take into account. In reality, suppliers will be disappointing you. Okay, you agree with them to deliver in 2 days time. They take a week. Okay, it happens. Okay, sometimes in reality. Okay, sometimes there may be chances of delays from the side of the supplier. Okay, so this assumption of instantaneous replenishment might not so hold in reality. And of course, the assumption that you make is there is no discount suppliers give, which is very wrong. Okay, as suppliers give discount, they want you to buy from them. Okay, so they give discounts, that's for sure. Okay, and of course, the more you buy from them, the more discounts they're going to be giving. Okay, so the assumption that there is no discounts suppliers giving may not hold. Okay, in reality, suppliers do give discounts. Okay, based on the quantity that you purchase from them, for sure. Okay. Therefore, as I mentioned, these assumptions, if you critique them, okay, try to critique, do they apply in reality? Then the assumptions become, therefore, the model limitation, okay? Because sometimes you can examine asking you, discuss the limitation of this particular model. The easiest way to answer the question is by trying to look at what are the assumptions, okay? And those assumptions, do they apply in reality? If they don't, then those assumptions become, therefore, the limitations, okay? Clear? Okay, good. Do you see that as per the model? Okay, the first thing you need to take note of is how therefore do we get the Q? How therefore do we get the optimal reorder country? Okay, the Q proposed by the model, okay, which I think we have done this already, but just to repeat, the Q proposed model says that the Q, okay, will be equal to the square root of 2 annual demand cost per order divided by holding cost per unit per year. Okay, that's the model. The optimal reorder quantity to be given us the square root of 2, okay, where D here is annual demand. The CO here is the cost per order. Okay, CH here is holding cost per unit per year, holding cost per unit per year, holding cost per year. Yeah, and that is the model. Q is our optimal reorder quantity. Is our optimal reorder quantity. Don't cram. This is on the formula the examiner will give you in the main exam. So this is not a formula you should attempt to cram. It doesn't make it doesn't add any value. Okay, and that's a Q proposed by the model. The next thing is that don't forget here we made an assumption that the supplier don't give discounts. Okay, there's no discounts that you receive from suppliers. Okay, what that means therefore is that whether you buy 10 items or you buy 100 items, the purchase cost remains constant. Okay, therefore the purchase cost is irrelevant. Okay, when it comes to making the decisions. Okay, because it's fixed. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, it is fixed. Okay, because the supplier don't give discounts. Okay, don't forget that the total, you see, good here. Okay, you said here the total inventory cost is given us the purchase cost, the cost you incur in the procurement of the inventory or the raw material, okay, plus the holding cost, which I think you have mentioned before, okay, plus ordering cost. Okay, those are the three components of total inventory cost: purchase cost plus holding cost plus ordering cost. Okay. However, we have said that at the end of the day, okay, since there is no discounts we are receiving from the holder, from the company, not from the company, from the supplier, okay, therefore the purchase cost therefore remain constant throughout the year. Okay, remain constant throughout the year. It does not matter, therefore. Okay, therefore they become an irrelevant cost. Okay, whether you're going to buy 10 items or you're going to buy 1,000 items from the supplier, there is no discount received. Okay, therefore at the end of the day, okay, the purchase cost, okay, the annual purchase cost remain the same. Okay, it does not matter. However, based on the Q, okay, therefore the relevant inventory cost in this context, relevant cost of inventory is equal to holding cost plus ordering cost. The holding cost is given us average inventory, which is therefore going to be Q divided by 2 times the holding cost per unit per year plus the number of orders per year, D divided by Q times the cost per order. Okay, where Q, we have said this, what is proposed by the model here, for example. Okay, holding cost CH, we can measure this. Don't forget here, I think a graph would have made things easier. Why we divide by 2, average inventory. Okay, so first we made an assumption of instantaneous replenishment. So it is possible for a company to drain its inventory to 0. Okay, let me draw a graph so that it makes things a bit easier. I hope it will be easier. Assume that you just receive the order from supplier, so your inventory levels go back to the highest point possible. Okay, therefore we have here being our highest point possible. Okay, don't forget with time. Okay, so the inventory, as time goes by, the consumption, you are consuming the inventory. Okay, so time here, so this is time. Okay, this is the quantity. As time goes by, don't forget to be having the inventory reducing. Okay, and another assumption we're making is that there's a constant consumption. Okay, therefore there's going to be a decrease in a straight line. Okay, let's be okay, the inventory balance reduced from the highest level all the way to 0. Okay, all the way to 0. Okay, then at this point in time, since we made assumption of instantaneous replenishment, okay, at point 0, once the inventory balance reaches 0, what do? You ask the supplier, deliver, let's say, for example, 10,000 items. Okay, deliver 10,000 items. So once at this point in time, okay, we will receive the inventory balance goes back to 10,000 items. Okay, so increase back. So it will be increasing back to from 0, okay, all the way back to the 10,000. Okay, and the process goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Okay, it's going to be therefore the reality. Now the highest inventory level we have here, okay, is 10,000. Okay, we have it here on top here. The lowest we have here, of course, is 0. Okay, there was the average. Okay, it will be 10,000 plus 0 divided by 2. Wait, what's 10,000? 10,000 is the amount we have reordered, the Q. Okay, it's our Q. There will be the Q divided by 2. Okay, that's we have our average inventory being Q divided by 2. Okay, and so going back to on the previous slide here. Where is this? Yes, okay. So here, therefore, don't forget, that's what you have here, average inventory. Let me use a different ink. Average inventory here, okay, is Q divided by 2. Okay, Q divided by 2, we multiply by how much cost do we incur per unit per year to have that inventory in your warehouse. What's the cost? Okay, and at any point in time, how much do you have? How much inventory are you holding? That's Q divided by 2 times what it costs per unit per year. Then number, how many orders do you make per year? Okay, you make the annual demand, how many items you need per year, divide by how many items do you buy per order. Okay, if for example in a year you need, for example, 12,000 items, and every time you order 10,000, you order 1,000 items. Therefore, in a year you order 12 times. Okay, supposed to be 12,000 items that you require. You buy 1,000 per order. Therefore, in a year you order 12 times. Okay, where this is annual demand, this is the Q. Then we have divide. This we have Q D divided by Q times the cost per order. Clear? Okay. As I mentioned, don't forget, if we were to follow the assumptions of the EOQ, don't forget purchase cost is an irrelevant cost. Okay, because at the end of the day, okay, if for example you're going to in an year you will be required to order, for example, 12,000 items. The purchase cost per unit, for example, will be $10. Okay, therefore in a year, the cost to purchase the item is 12,000 times the cost per unit. Okay, to give us $120,000. So whether you're going to order 1,000, or you're going to order 2,000, your Q is 2,000, it does not matter. The total annual purchase cost remains at 120,000. It is not influenced by the Q, by the size of the order. That's what therefore irrelevant. Okay. If we were to assume there is no discount supplier is giving, but in case supplier is giving discounts, okay, which is going to be more realistic assumption, okay, if supplier is going to give discounts, then the purchase cost is not fixed, but the supplier gives discount on the purchase price. Therefore, this item here, the cost per unit, therefore, is going not to remain constant. It's not going to remain at $10. It can go up or down, okay, based on the discount you are receiving from the supplier. So therefore, if it's discount, then we ought to include the purchase cost. Why? Because it's not fixed. It becomes therefore a relevant cost. Clear?
Sir, could you repeat this part, please?
Okay. I was just make sure that in case supplier give discounts, okay, if supplier give discount, let me give explain more here. Okay, if supplier give discounts, for example, supplier can tell you that if you order from us, these are units, you can reorder. If you order from us between 1 to 100 items, okay, we give nothing. There's no discount to give you. Okay, there's discount rate. Okay, we don't give you discount. If you order from us 101, okay, so 101, 101, between 101 item to let's say 300, we give you 1% discount, okay, on the purchase price. Okay, if you order between 301 to let's say 1,000, we give let's say 2% discount. Okay, now what does that mean? It means that the purchase price, if the purchase price with no discount was let's say $10, okay, so here the price here remain at $10. The price is 1% less. Okay, it would be I think 9.9, I guess, not so sure. Okay, the price here is going to be 2% less. Okay, be 9.8, for example. Okay, now what does that mean? It means that the price you're paying is decreasing. Okay, based on the quantities you're purchasing. Okay, so the more you purchase, okay, you can see this is 1,000, the more discount you're receiving, and the lower is the purchase cost. Because the purchase cost, okay, purchase cost per year will be equal to the number of items you buy per year times the price you paid. Okay, so the annual demand is constant, but the price is decreasing. Therefore, the purchase cost is therefore will be decreasing. Therefore, since it is decreasing, it is not fixed. It becomes therefore part of the total relevant inventory cost. Okay, so in this case, therefore, if there are discounts the supplier is giving, therefore, when you want to get the total relevant cost, it will be purchase cost plus holding cost plus ordering cost. Why do we have purchase cost here? Because it's relevant. It is decreasing based on the Q. Clear?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, let's do an example. We attempt to apply what you have learned. Okay, so that makes more sense. Okay, let me look for an example. Question that asks us to do that. Yes, I think this can be. Yes. Go through this. We discuss together. Okay, so in this example, we know that the company has an annual has a demand of 150 units per month. Don't forget the analysis must be done on per annum. Okay, so therefore, if you have some variables that are monthly based, they're weekly based, they're daily based, then of course you have to convert them to annum basis. Okay, so the first therefore is for us to convert the demand from being per month to per annum. If 150 times 12, okay, give us 1800 units. Okay, fixed cost. Okay, this doesn't matter. Fixed ordering cost and holding cost. It also has to be per annum. Okay, it also has to be per annum. Okay, so therefore, and this is 18% of the stock value. The stock value is £25. Therefore, holding cost, therefore, CH is equal to 18% times £25 to give us 4.5. 4.5 pounds. Okay, therefore come therefore the holding cost. Okay, therefore was a Q. Okay. Let me just open my written area. Okay, it should be equal to okay, the Q, which is given us the square root of 2 annual demand cost per order divided holding cost per unit per year. If this game equal to 2 times annual demand 1800 cost per order between is equal to £32. Holding cost per unit is equal to 4.5 pounds. Therefore, what's the Q?
160.
You get 160 units. Okay, 160 units. That means for the company should be reordering the inventory at 160 units. Okay, if you order above 160, the cost increases. If you order below 160, the cost also increases. So the optimal, therefore, the optimum point, the minimum point of the minimum inventory should be reordering is equal to 160 units. Don't go above, don't go below. Okay, the optimal is 160. The cost at EOQ. Let's get the cost at EOQ. The cost at EOQ, total cost, total relevant cost. Okay, we don't need to include purchase cost in this example. Why? Because we don't have discounts. Okay, so the price is fixed. It doesn't matter. Okay, the total therefore total relevant inventory cost therefore is equal to holding cost. Okay, plus ordering cost. If we go to holding cost is Q divided by 2 for the average inventory times holding cost per unit per year plus the number of orders per year. We multiply the cost per order. Okay. Therefore, let's therefore equal to Q, you've seen is 160, divided by 2, holding cost per unit per year, you've seen is 4.5, times the number of orders per year, which is 1800, divided by Q, which is 160, times the cost per order, which is £32. And therefore, what's the cost?
£720.
£20, okay? And guess £20, therefore, we count the cost. In case we were to £20, in case as a company we do reorder our inventory quantities at Q of 160. Clear? Don't forget that 720 is not the total inventory cost. Okay, I hope that's clear. It's only the relevant cost. Okay, but not the total inventory cost. Look here, we have not included the purchase cost. Why it is irrelevant when it comes to making decision. Okay.
So please repeat, I couldn't hear you.
The 720 pounds here, this 720 here, it's the relevant part of the cost. Okay. We didn't include the purchase cost. Why? Because it doesn't help us to make the decision. It doesn't help us in getting in making a decision as per se. Why? Because there is no discounts the company is receiving, okay, based on the Q. As per the information we have so far, there is no discounts. Therefore, the purchase cost is therefore irrelevant. It is fixed. It does not matter. For the Q, the company should really that. Is that clear?
Okay, so if it doesn't have like a discount, whatever, you have to use this one.
Yeah, because there's no need for you to include purchase cost in that sense, okay? Because it does not matter what Q you're going to be reordering, it remains the same. Therefore, it is irrelevant. But don't forget, it is part of the inventory cost. Okay, I hope that's clear.
Yeah, but we use that if we have discount, right?
Yes. Like the example you're going to do next, there will be discount. Okay.
Thank you.
So, if we're told to find the total inventory cost, do we include the purchase cost?
Yes, there you can include the purchase cost. Yes, you can include the purchase cost. But in case it's very clear, only the relevant cost, then don't include the purchase cost if there's no discount. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But in case if there's not a mention of relevancy, then you can include the purchase cost. You can. Okay. There's no problem if you do that. Okay. Let's see.
The holding cost and the cost per order is still fixed, right? So why do we include it in the relevant cost?
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Now, since let me go back to so the fixed cost, like this, so is it? So this 4.5 is fixed, isn't it? And that's £2 is fixed, isn't it? I'm trying to interpret what you're trying to say. Yeah, fixed, isn't it? You went away. Anyway, they are fixed. That's true. Okay. However, the Q is not fixed as per se. Okay. The company that you're in quantity, the company may decide, I would order at let's say 200. I would order let's say 100. Then the Q is not fixed as per se. If you order 200, look at this now is going to change. Okay. This is going to change also. At 100, this is going to change, and this is going to change. Which implies, therefore, the total, okay, here will be different, as well as here will be different based on the Q, because this is changing, this is changing. Clear there?
But sir, in calculating the Q, the annual demand, cost per order, and holding cost, all of them are fixed.
They are fixed, yes, I agree. They are fixed, yes.
But then how do you say that Q is not fixed?
And with the Q, don't forget the company management might come with a decision that, hey, we would want to reorder our inventory not at 160, but at 200. Not at 160, but for example at 100. Now you're trying to advise them why maybe at 200 might not be a good idea. At 100 might not be a good idea. Okay. Let's do like this example. Let's do this example so that I can answer your question. I think that might answer your question. Okay, where is this? Yes, go through this. We do it together so that I can answer your question in a better way. Go through it, then we attempt to do it together.
Okay, so here the reorder quantity is not constant.
Okay, as you can see here, the reorder quantity of this company is not constant. It can be 400, it can be at 200, and at 600. So here is about time to give the advice to the management that why maybe based on the Q might be better. Okay, so therefore the starting bit here is to get the Q. So what's the Q here? So get the Q here. Is 400. It's quite simple. Okay, Q. Okay, Q is equal to square root of 2. Annual demand is 40,000. Okay, cost per order is equal to $2. Divide by the holding cost, which is $1, and get the Q of 400 units. Okay, now we want to make a decision. We want to advise the management why maybe at 400 it's better. Okay, because they have an option of 200, of 400, and a 600. So you need to get the cost. Okay, and each of those are the other quantity, and maybe why at 400 it might be better for the company. So let's begin. They give the cost at 200. But here, don't forget there's no discount supply is given. Okay, which means therefore we should not include the purchase cost in the analysis. Okay, because it is irrelevant. It does not matter at what price, but the price you pay is equal to the same, is $9. The units you buy per year, it's 40,000. So it does not matter what's your Q. The total amount you be paying to purchase the raw material is the same. Is 9 times 40,000. Okay. So it doesn't matter. That's why, therefore, we are not going to include the purchase cost in the analysis when advising the management. Okay. So let's do the cost at 200, at 400, and at 600. Okay, so let's begin at 200. Begin at 200. Q in this context is 200 units. Therefore, since we have said that the purchase cost is irrelevant, therefore, the total relevant inventory cost, okay, relevant inventory cost, here is giving us holding cost, Q divided by 2 times holding cost per unit per year, plus ordering costs, number of orders per year. Therefore, 200, Q is 200 now here, 200 divided by 2 times holding cost per unit, it's $1. Okay, now orders per year will be equal annual demand, 40,000 units, divided by Q, and the Q is 200, times the cost per order, which is equal to $2. Q is how much? Cost of 500, I guess.
500.
Yes, okay, and get 500 with the cost in case you are to reorder at Q of 200. Then what if we are to reorder at a Q of 400? That's the next alternative, 400 units. This will be equal to the cost, the reorder cost will be equal to Q is now 400 divided by 2 times $1 plus, okay, the Q now is 400, so 40,000 divided by Q of 400 times $2, $2, and the cost becomes 400. I don't know, cost is how much?
400.
400, and get the cost we go to $400. Okay. The next alternative for this company is to reorder at a Q of 600. Okay, Q of 600. The cost then will be equal to, okay, Q is 600, 600 divided by 2 to get the average inventory times 1. The number of orders per year, 40,000, divided by Q, 600, times, okay, the holding cost per, the cost per order, which is made at $2. And we get how much?
433.3.
For the $3.31. Now you can give the advice to the company, okay? What should therefore should be the optimal reorder level? It should be where the cost is minimum. In this case, at 400, okay? The company, therefore, the firm should reorder its inventory at Q of 400 units. Why? Since the total relevant inventory cost, is at the minimum. Okay, hope that clears that answers you. And was that Kina? I can't remember who was asking the question.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay.
Thank you.
That's why, therefore, we do need to, or rather, we know that, okay, that at Q, if you have to reorder at the EOQ, okay, then you're going to have the minimum possible inventory cost, okay. But you want to, the manager might come with a proposal, okay, that is otherwise from what the math says, okay, what the financial model say, okay. You can tell them, you can prove them to them that, hey, if we reorder at 200, the cost is higher. So you advise them, hey, we need to reorder our inventory, not at 500, not at 200, not at 600, but at 400 units. Why? Because the cost is minimum. Clear? Any question? Okay, no question. So if we have discounts, I think that should be the next thing that we need to discuss. What if we have discount supplier are giving, okay, where the price here, okay, this price here is not fixed, okay, not fixed, okay. Are we going to, is the model going to be disrupted, okay? Is the EOQ still the optimal, okay? That may not be the case because one of the assumption of the EOQ has been disrupted, okay? The assumption of no discount supply is giving, okay? So what if that's not the case, where now the supplier are actually giving discounts? What will happen? Let's do a question to answer that. Okay, go through this, then we discuss together. I mean, the same example, by the way, the same example that you have done before, only that this time around we have discounts, okay? 1%, 2%, and 4%. Okay, so you can analyze this question. Now, at this time, since the supplier is giving discounts, we should include, therefore, the purchase cost, because purchase cost is no longer fixed, but it's decreasing based on the number of units that we shall be purchasing. Okay, so let's analyze that question. Okay. A minute. Get the question. Okay. So let's get 1% discount. So don't forget the Q here, we already done it. It was at 160, if you still remember. But let's see whether the cost, we think we can do it. Let's do a Q of 160, we see. Okay. But let's begin at the lowest inventory you need to order to get the discount, which is 150. So Q of 150 units. Q 150 units was equal to, okay, well, the cost will be equal to, so first is to get the total cost of inventory, be equal to purchase cost plus holding cost plus ordering cost. Okay, therefore this will be equal to purchase cost is price times annual demand. Okay, the holding cost remain the same, Q divided by 2 times holding cost per year, ordering cost, number of orders per year times cost per order. Therefore Q 150 will be equal to the price here. There's a 1% discount, so we need to get the price. Price therefore will be 99% of the current price without the discount, which is how much? Price is 25. Give us 24 points.
75.
75. Okay. Don't forget, holding cost is dependent on what you paid. The holding cost this time around is equal to 18% of the amount you paid, 18% of 24.75. Therefore, the holding cost. Four points.
4.455.
So 4.46.
Yeah.
Okay, so the holding cost is 4.46. Which means the total cost of, if the Q is 150, okay, would be equal to total cost here. Will be equal to the price now is 24.75. Annual demand remain the same. It's equal to 1800. 1800 per year. Okay, holding cost Q is 150 divided by 2 times 4.46. The number of orders per year will be equal to annual demand 1800 divided by Q, which now is 150 times, okay, the cost per order, which remain at that £2. There was a cost in case our Q is at 150. $40.
4872 4.5.
Sorry, 40.
48,724.5.
40,400 and
Oh, I mean it's 724, not 400.
724.
48, 7, yeah. 724.5.
Okay, 48,724.5. I didn't get that answer.
Me neither.
I got something for something 45, 44. I can't remember. But
I also got 45 something.
You got what?
Let me just check again. 45 something.
Yes, I remember. That's what I got also.
45 to 68.5.
45
to 68.5.
to 69.
Yeah, it's happened. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Don't worry. Okay. So 45 to 69. Okay, if I remember, yes, should be something close to that. 45 to 69. Okay. That's the cost in case you are to have your queue at 150. Okay. Or if you have your queue at the EOQ. Okay, EOQ is the cost. Okay. That is, we continue at the EOQ, which was 160. Okay. The cost will be equal to Q of 160.
Go class.
Okay, so in case you have the queue at 160, don't forget queue at 160. This is you don't need to read it, by the way. Okay, it's not that we want to do it at the because our EOQ was 160, just to prove that the EOQ might not be the optimal. Okay, so this is just a side working. Okay, the cost will be equal to the annual 1800 annual demand. The price will be the same because you still get 1% discount. Okay, because you are not yet at 300. Okay, if you check out the question, the 2% discount you'll be getting in case your order are above 300, but you're not yet at 300, but you're still above 150. So you get the price of 24.75. Q now is 160 divided by 2. Holding cost is the same, 4.46. Okay, the number of orders per year, 1800 divided by Q, which is now 160 times that £2. Okay, the cost per order is also fixed. And you get 40.
$45,266.
45,200. 66. Okay, and 66. Okay, about $5,266 currently for the cost. Okay. Now let's do at Q. Let's get a little more discount because there's more discount you can get. Okay, you can get a discount of, let's say, what else can you get? 2% in case you are 300. Now let's get a 2% discount. We ordered 300 units. If that's the price, if that's will be your Q, the amount you pay will be 98% of 25. And you get 24.5. You get 24.5. And therefore, the holding cost will be decreasing because it is 18% of 24.5. And you get how much? 4.41. Okay. Therefore, the purchase cost, the cost first being the purchase cost, the price you're paying has decreased to 24.5, but the annual demand is constant, 1800. Holding costs will now be increasing because you're having more inventory at hand. Q now is 300 divided by 2 times holding costs, which is 4.41. The number of orders per year should be decreasing because you're ordering more items per order. 1800 divided by 300 times £32. And you get 40.
$44,954.
954. Okay. Because the cost in case the queue is at 300. What if you want to get more discounts? Let's see whether it is going to be good for the business. Okay. Where now the queue is 800. Let's get a discount 800. The queue of 800. you'll be getting 4% discount. Therefore, the price we paid will be equal to 96% times the annual demand, times the price per unit, which is equal to, what's the price? 25. Okay. And you get 24, I guess. I'm not sure. The price we pay is 24.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Yes. Holding cost is now 18% of the price you have paid, that is 24. And you get 4.3.
4.32.
4.32 for the holding cost per unit per year. Okay. Having done that, what next we do? We get, yeah, I think we've done that. Therefore, the cost, therefore, will be equal to the price you're paying per unit, 24, times annual demand, remain at 1800. The Q is now higher, is now at 800, therefore more holding costs, times 4.32. But now you'll be making less orders per year, 1800 times, divide by 800 times the cost per order, that's £2. And the cost will be incurring, therefore, will be how much?
45,000.
45,000, exactly. Okay, and get 45,000 to be there for the cost in case the Q was at 800. Now you advise the management, hey, is still the EOQ the optimal? Let's go back. The EOQ, don't forget, was 160. There's a cost. However, there seem to be a better, there seem to be a lower cost here. Therefore, the EOQ is no longer optimal. Okay, because at EOQ the cost is 45,266. At 300 the cost is 44,954. Therefore, the optimal order quantity should be at 300. Okay, therefore let's advise the management. Okay, the firm or the company should reorder. Okay, should reorder the inventory in the queue of 300 units. Okay, since at that point, at that reorder quantity, since the inventory quantity, since the inventory cost is at the minimum, or is at the lowest point, and that is it. Clear? Question? Okay. That's on how we manage inventory. Okay, if for example is more towards the EOQ, the use of EOQ, and how to take care of discounts if suppliers are offering discounts, that goes against the EOQ assumptions, the EOQ policy. Clear? Question? Okay, no question.